We're both so excited for tonight. To start off with some housekeeping items, it's the same as the last 4 sessions. We ask that you keep your microphone muted throughout the session. Please make sure your display name says your first name with the first initial of your last name. And then if you're comfortable, add your preferred pronouns beside your name. And then to adjust your display name, you could click on the 3 dots in the top right corner of your Zoom picture and click rename. We also have closed captioning turned on. So to turn that on or off, you can go down to the toolbar on the bottom next to reactions and click CC and turn that on or off. We also encourage all of you to turn on your video camera if you're comfortable. Now, Lexi will talk about land acknowledgement.
All right. We would like to recognize that we reside on the stolen land of the Coast Salish peoples. We come from a place of respect and gratitude to know we work, live, and learn on their traditional lands. As a group of people, we are committed to reconciliation and creating a better future for all by building strong relationships with and uplifting the voices of Indigenous folks. Please visit nativeland.ca to learn more about the land you are on.
Cool. And now to jump into the agenda, we will start off with Carol talking about Rotary. After that, we'll have a presentation on ES, and then YAIL, and we'll talk about Rotary Youth Exchange. And we got Sassy Awards, and we'll talk about RYLA and Rotaractor. And then after all those presentations, we'll have a little bit of a Q&A, and then we'll go into trivia and prizes for the participants. And I will pass it off to Carol to talk about Rotary.
Good evening, everyone. I have really enjoyed being an observer in the prior sessions, and I thank the AIM by YAIL organizers for inviting me to speak tonight. First, next slide, please. Yeah. This is Rotary's vision statement. Rotary unites people from all continents and cultures who take action to deliver real, long-term solutions to our world's most persistent issues. Through volunteering, our 1.2 million members make lifelong friendships that transcend political and cultural boundaries and foster global understanding and respect. In addition to our 35,000 clubs, Rotary also offers expanded service opportunities, including Rotaract and Interact, and you'll be hearing more about that tonight. For 116 years, Rotary members have been addressing challenges around the world. And it all started with the vision of one man, Paul Harris, a Chicago lawyer. He formed the first Rotary Club in Chicago on February the 23rd, 1905, so that professionals with diverse backgrounds could exchange ideas, form meaningful lifelong friendships, and give back to their communities. Rotary's name came from that group's early practice of rotating their meetings amongst the offices of their members. Next slide, please. These are Rotary's core values, and you have heard a lot about diversity in each of the prior AIM by YAIL sessions. Rotary is not just a club that you join. It's an invitation to endless opportunities. Everything that we do opens another opportunity for someone, somewhere. Rotary also gives ordinary people the opportunity to do extraordinary things, and I've sure experienced that. When I was first asked to join Rotary in 1992, long before any of you were born, I did so because I was a bank manager, and it was expected of me to be involved in the community. Shortly after I joined, I learned of Rotary's only corporate project, which is to eradicate polio from the face of the earth. Next slide, please. That touched my heart, as my father was a victim of polio. I knew that one day I would participate in a national immunization day, and that day came in October 2009 when I went to Ethiopia. And this vial that I'm holding in my hand is the one that I used when I immunized my first child. And this picture isn't the first child I immunized, but it's one of my favorite pictures. With every child that I have immunized on that and the subsequent 8 national immunization days I've done, I have felt gratitude for anyone who has ever donated to the Polio Plus program. Although I don't speak Amharic, and nor do the villagers that we met as we went hut to hut to immunize the children spoke English. With every child that I immunized, every mummy looked deep into my eyes, and my soul was filled with the thanks that they were expressing from saving their child from the ravages of polio. Those children will face many challenges in their lives, but they will not be crippled nor potentially die from polio. Rotary has faced many challenges in our journey to eradicate polio since we started in 1995. But we've made remarkable progress. And the polio infrastructure that Rotarians help build around the world will serve as a lasting legacy that will continue to help protect vulnerable children against many other diseases for decades to come. And these same polio workers have been very active in COVID-19 response and surveillance throughout the developing world over the last year. You can stop the slide share now, thank you. And now I'll end by sharing one of my Rotary moments. I was so lucky to be raised in a wonderful family. We weren't wealthy, but we were rich with values, faith, respect, love, and many other things that I treasure. I have 3 brothers. I was daddy's girl. Mom loved me deeply, but we did not really have a strong mother-daughter bond or friendship. We clashed often, and when I was an adult, it was often about my involvement in Rotary. We are Catholic. Mom always questioned me about why I was spending so much time volunteering for Rotary and not doing that work through the church. I'm really involved in my church, but Mom still wanted me to do all my volunteer work through the church. My dad passed away in 1996 at the age of 68. And following his death, I always included Mom in my travel plans, including company conferences and that kind of thing. In 2004, my Rotary Club planned a trip to deliver a container load of wheelchairs in rural Mexico. And Mom came along with me and 19 other fellow club and family members. Like most Rotary International Service projects, there are profound moments throughout that service work. And this one occurred on the very first day. My mom really uncharacteristically turned to me with tears streaming down her face. And she said to me, "You are truly doing God's work on earth." Mom, who had metastatic breast cancer, worked tirelessly the following days from dawn till dusk as we delivered the gift of mobility. The following year, I was president of my Rotary Club, and Mom drove out to Chilliwack from Vancouver, which is about an hour and a half's drive each way, on many Fridays to come to my Rotary meetings. That year, Mom became a major donor to the Rotary Foundation. 2 years later, Mom became a legacy donor to the Rotary Foundation. And because upon her death, she had requested donations to the Rotary Foundation in lieu of flowers. That shared Rotary experience in Mexico allowed me to become best friends with my mother in her last 3 years. Rotary truly changes lives in ways that we might never imagine. I hope that many of you will include service to humanity through Rotary in your very bright futures. Thank you, and back to you, Lexi and Dakota.
Thanks, Carol. Hey guys, I'm AJ. So YES stands for Rotary's Youth Engaged in Service Program. It's a humanitarian project which provides local and international volunteer opportunities to grade 11 high school students. Our mission statement is to provide leadership development opportunities while engaging youth in Rotary's motto, service above self, both locally and internationally. So these pictures here are, I think, from the 2018-2019 YES team. Can you go next slide, please? Thanks. Here. So the best part about YES is that it impacts the lives of all those involved. For local community organizations, they receive hundreds of volunteer hours as each student commits to a minimum of 80 hours of meaningful service. Villagers at international service sites are provided with much needed assistance, and they develop positive relationships with Americans and Canadians. And for Rotarians, they get hyped because they get to see the significant impact of their efforts. Students experience, I really like this one. For students, they experience a sense of cultural awareness that can lead to life changes, causing them to reevaluate their priorities and goals. I have an excerpt here from one of the past participants who wrote, "Volunteerism is the epitome of the human race's willingness to unite against adversity, to work not through self-interest, but for the betterment of the world. And to see our philanthropic lives come to fruition, it is through volunteerism that I have realized our purpose." You know, so that really speaks to the impact that volunteering does, not just on the people that receive it, but the people who are giving. Could you go to the next slide, please, Dakota? So how it works. There's a program fee of $1,500, which Rotary mentors will help with fundraising. Participants achieve 80 hours of local volunteer service, as mentioned before. And then you get to attend monthly meetings, weekend team building retreats, and the YAIL weekend. YAIL is something that you'll see in I think Austin's talking about it. Okay, but it's awesome. And you get assist with program fundraisers, obtain a passport. You're gonna have to obtain a passport and recommend immunizations, especially during COVID, probably. And then bring enough money for like personal expenses. Could you go to the next slide, please, Dakota? So this is the team from 2019 and 20 to 2020. Yeah, 2020. Sorry. Yeah, we're accepting applications now, and I'm going to leave the links for more information in the chat, and I'll also leave a link for the application. So, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, AJ. So guys, my name is Alec. I'm here to talk about YAIL with you today. Next slide, please. So YAIL, which stands for Youth Adventures in Leadership, is a program that's open for people ages 15 to 17. And it is held annually at the Alexandra Neighborhood House in Surrey, BC. And the goal of YAIL is to increase perspective and enthusiasm for growth of people ages 15 to 17. Next slide, please. All right, so this year, YAIL looked a little different as we transitioned to an online format. Out of it, AIM by YAIL was created. We were still able to learn and grow as individuals, only this time from the comfort of our own homes. Next slide, please. Under normal circumstances, participants would arrive at the Alexandra Neighborhood House Friday afternoon to get signed in and to receive materials for the weekend. These included name tags, binders, worksheets, and any other supplies needed to participate in the various activities. Next slide, please. From Friday night to Sunday afternoon, participants would interact and engage with one another through group activities, discussions, and speaker sessions geared towards some of the same concepts that we covered in this year's YAIL. Next slide, please. The weekend would end with a volunteer activity to show our appreciation to the members of the Alexandra House for letting us use their facilities, usually including trash pickup or a restoration project. Next slide. YAIL is led by a team of facilitators and a committee of Rotarians who have a passion for empowering young people and who seek to invest in their futures. At the conclusion of the weekend, participants would be picked up, free to leave with what we hope to be an elevated level of enthusiasm and perspective on the world around us. Oh, and the snacks. Next slide, please. The snacks are top-notch, guys. If any of you have friends that you think would benefit from this experience and or enjoy the most hospitable assortment of snacks that you can imagine, then I highly recommend this program to them. Now I'll pass it off to Danny to discuss the Rotary Youth Exchange program.
Hi everyone, my name is Danny. So I wanted to just have a fun chat about Rotary Youth Exchange. So what is Rotary Youth Exchange? The fast and short of it is their long and short-term opportunities to learn a new language, discover another culture, and truly become a global citizen. And that's a quote from Rotary.org. But it's a lot more than that. It's experiencing life the way you maybe normally would in a completely different country. It's a way to step outside of your comfort zone, challenge yourself, and grow in a completely new setting. Why go on a Rotary Exchange? To learn a new language and experience a different culture, develop leadership skills and other new skills like communication, make new friends around the world. Maybe you'll have opportunities to travel further or even in the future go back and see your friends again. And then you get to travel and explore new parts of the globe. Rotary Exchange is pretty exciting. A lot of people really want to get involved with you, especially when you're an exchange student. Rotarians in your club will reach out so you can also experience what their life is like and what they think maybe some of the most important parts of their community and culture are to show you. So how do you get involved with Rotary Exchange? If you want to go on exchange and you're 15 to 19 years old, speak to your local Rotary club. Generally, the exchanges for 15 to 19-year-olds are a year or a school year long. So you would leave for about 8 months, go to school in a different country, and then come home to either finish high school or go on to university. But there are other ways to get involved, even if you don't want to go on exchange. There are tons of students that come to different communities every year, and they're looking to connect with people. And this is your opportunity to connect with people from a different culture and learn about different cultures, even if you don't go on exchange. Invite them to your Interact and Rotaract clubs, get to know them, bring them to your favorite places in your community. There's lots of ways to participate. I'm not super sure about opportunities for students entering grade 9. I believe our age limit is 15. But yeah, that's all I got on that. Next slide, please. And this is Sassy Awards with Austin.
I'm just going to stop sharing for 1 second, Austin, before you get started so that I can include your audio. All right, go for it.
Okay, hey, how's it going, guys? Hey, so now I'm here to talk about the Sassy Awards, which stand for the Service Above Self Surrey Youth Awards. So if you live or study or work in Surrey or White Rock, this is for you. Yeah, and just play the video quick.
The Sassy Awards were established in 2011 to recognize service above self by Surrey Youth. And nominations in each of the 6 award categories were submitted earlier this spring. The award finalists in each category and then the award recipients were selected by a panel of judges based on a set of criteria. Each recipient receives a $1,000 award and a keepsake Sassy trophy, as well as $500 to donate to the registered Canadian charity of their choice.
Yeah, so go to the next slide, Lexi. So I'm just here as a fellow youth to talk to you guys about basically getting involved in the opportunity that is the Sassy Awards. So if you, like I said, work, study, or live in Surrey or White Rock, you can actually apply or be nominated by someone else that you know for the Sassy Awards. And they take place in Surrey and White Rock, but there's also another one that is in Langley, just in case you're in Langley. So what it is it's just an award ceremony, basically to recognize youth that have been doing things above and beyond their normal schedule and curriculum to benefit the community, or certain things in each category that you can see here. So the categories are arts and culture, community service, environmental leadership, which I was actually very fortunate enough to be a recipient of that award in 2016. I won that environmental leadership award for volunteer stuff I was doing. And and then there's international service, overcoming adversity, and sports and recreation. So out of the nominees, the people that gets nominated by applications or other people that thought that you should be nominated for an award, get profiled, 3 in each category. Only one of those gets an award in each category, and then they receive a $1,000 kind of scholarship award, and then $500 to basically donate to a charity of their choice, which is a really nice thing to do. If you're involved in the kind of volunteer community, you probably know of charities that deserve some money. So the next one. I was actually I have attended all the Sassy Awards for the past like 10 or 11 years since they started, except for 1 year in 2015 when I was backpacking on a train. So basically what I really like about the Sassy Awards myself is how youth get credit for what they're doing in their own time and in their spare time, which obviously is unpaid work. So I think it's a really important thing to credit youth for this kind of stuff, to encourage them to keep doing it, and other youth to be getting involved in things that better the community and the world at large. So as a finalist, I was able to talk about work that I was doing and causes that are important to me. So if you're someone that cares about a certain cause, like for me, it's the environment, it gave me kind of a platform to speak and give me some kind of credit behind my kind of involvement in the community and things that I was doing before I went to school. So that was really nice. And then also I got a $1,000 scholarship, and I donated $500 to like this charity called the Pacific. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was called Camp Firkham Society. It was a nonprofit camp that I did youth leadership programs at. So that was who I donated to personally. Next slide. And then, Sassy Volunteers. You can volunteer for the Sassy Awards too if you're looking for volunteer experience. This is basically a program that's sponsored by the Samiana Rotary Club. So if you're looking for volunteer experience, you can contact them to be involved with potential judging nominees, planning committee, which is a committee that helps plan the event, social media you can volunteer for, which kind of promotes the event. You can nominate someone or yourself. And then Lexi here, one of our co-hosts of this event that we're here at today, AIM by YAIL, was the 2016 finalist in the community service category, which is pretty sweet. And then she was a the last 2 years volunteering with the planning committee and emceeing the past 2 events too. So she's pretty involved. She kills it, Lexi, for sure. And then I have done so myself too. It's kind of fun to get to judge local youth that are doing a lot of good, cool things in the community. Next slide. And then, yeah, you can always visit the website. I'll just type it in quick just in case. Sassy Awards Surrey.ca. And then you can view all the past recipients of the awards since 2011 on that site. It's kind of interactive and cool. I like it. You can press the bar. So just check out the website. And then, yeah, please nominate yourself or anyone you know that's between 15 and 21 in that Surrey or White Rock area, because it's a really cool way to get them credit and get them recognized and kind of kickstart your resume, even with the $1,000 scholarship you get. It's not that we're using the Sassy Awards, but you might as well get involved because you have a really good chance to give yourself a kind of a cool thing on a resume too. So I highly recommend spreading the word and applying for the event. And then there's the social media, as you can see on Facebook. So yeah, thanks to Samiami Rotary Club for sponsoring this event. Any questions? Anyone?
We're going to do a Q&A at the end for all the topics. So we're going to jump to the next one, and then any questions regarding Sassy we'll come back to. One other quick note is we will also send out a follow-up email to all of you with all of the links to get involved with these programs, how you can register, how you can sign up, when registration dates are, et cetera, et cetera. So if you miss it in the chat now, don't worry, you will get sent it.
Thank you, Austin. Okay, so RYLA is an opportunity to hear from professional speakers at no cost during a 4-day program with like-minded individuals. You'll have fun with group activities, form lasting friendships, and develop and grow as a person and as a leader. RYLA has 3 expectations: attend, participate, and have fun. After RYLA, it's our hope that participants will take the lessons learned there and apply them to their personal life and communities. I attended RYLA in 2019 as a participant. I had no experience with Rotary and had no idea what I was getting myself into. It was super nerve-wracking for me. I was away from home and I definitely questioned if I wanted to do it. But I am so, so glad that I took that opportunity and took that leap of this amazing opportunity. I learned so many valuable lessons, leadership skills that have continued to stick with me and made lasting connections with fellow Rotaractors and Rotarians. Next slide, please. After attending RYLA, I got involved with my Rotary Club. I've now been a part of the Samiami Peninsula Rotaract Club for 2 years. I'm so grateful to have experienced RYLA and have given the opportunity to learn about Rotary and get involved in my local community. RYLA is typically held in either April or May at the Mount Baker camp in Deming, Washington. Although this year is a bit different being virtual, I have no doubt it will live up to the amazing experience it always has been. So if you are interested in getting involved and participating, registration is still open until May 31st. The link is easily accessible on the slide, in the chat, or will be sent in the follow-up email after the session has finished. And I will now pass it over so you can hear a bit about Interact.
So hi, everyone. My name's Bethany. I'm from North Vancouver. I'm the co-president of my Interact Club at Windsor Secondary School. I'm here just to share a little bit about my experience with Interact. So next slide, please. So what is Interact? It's a question I get asked all the time, and it's kind of hard, Interact's so many different things and each club takes it in their own direction. But on the official website, Interact clubs bring together young people aged 12 to 18 to develop leadership skills while discovering the power of service above self. So really, Interact has a leadership component and a service component. But what makes Interact different from your student council, your environment club, or any other clubs at your school is that Interact is a school/community club, and it's a global organization of clubs all around the world. So next slide, please. As you can see, there's 342,953 Interact members in 14,911 clubs in 145 countries around the world. So, sometimes you're in Interact and you feel as if your projects aren't having any impact, but your project and the project of all the other clubs all around the globe, they are making a difference, and Interact is making a difference. So next slide, please. So just a little bit about the logistics of my club. Obviously, there's no right or wrong way to do Interact. This is just what works for us. So we have an executive team of about 10 people. We have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, communications officer, and then a grade rep from grades 8 through 12. We meet every Monday for about 30 minutes to go through what's going on right now, what our projects are. Then our general members, we meet every Friday at lunch. At the moment, our club has about 65 total members, and probably about 20 to 30 are active members at the moment. And then how our club, and I know a bunch of other clubs like to run, is we choose one local charity and one global charity every year. So this year, my club is supporting Covenant House Vancouver, who help homeless youth in Vancouver, and Hope and Healing International, which provides free surgeries in some of the poorest nations in the world. And then we run projects every year. Some of them are projects that have been happening since way before I came to the club, and some are new ones that we try or ones that we just do one-off. Next slide, please. So more specifically, my journey, I had no idea what Interact was, had never heard about it. I, for most of high school, was oblivious to this thing called Interact. But one of my friends was really involved with Interact. So at the end of grade 10, I was kind of forced into Interact. I was dragged kicking and screaming to an Interact meeting. And it was quite fun. I enjoyed it. I think we did rock painting. I ended up signing a card for some person I had never met before, but it was a fun time with friends. And that same friend decided to run for president that year, and she needed a secretary. And she jokingly suggested that I should do the job. But it really stuck with me. It was like something about Interact, something about joining the exec team just stuck with me. And so I decided to do it, joined a club I had barely been to. Best decision ever. So what our secretary does, I took, meeting minutes. You're in charge of all of the presentations. You keep track of all the service hours for everyone. You're running the events calendar. Our Rotary liaison kind of told us that it seems as if the president's always in charge, but really it's the secretary. They're the backbone of the club. They run everything. So it was an awesome experience getting to meet so many people in Interact as the secretary. Such a welcoming group. And because I enjoyed it so much last year, I decided to join it again this year, and I ran for president. So next slide, please. And I ended up running co-president with my friend Sam. And that has been incredible. It's been very different this year, but at our club, at least, president, you're running all executive and general meetings, you're writing agendas, you're organizing all of the events, you're helping all of the other members and executives with their roles. You're in constant communication with your Rotary liaison and other Rotary members who always have cool new opportunities for you guys. And we also have bi-monthly meetings with other Interact presidents, which is really a fun time to get to meet other clubs and get to just chat about what you guys are doing and kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Next slide, please. So like I said, Interact has a service section and a leadership. So just a couple of the service projects that we run at our club. So our biggest event is Entertainment Night, which is an annual talent show that's been happening for a year. I don't even know when Entertainment Night started. It always happens. It's a huge event. We normally raise probably about $4,000 each year for our charities. It's talent, there's jokes, it's a fun time. You get the entire school involved, get the community. We also run a silent auction, and we get a lot of donations from local businesses. So it's a huge event. We run every February. We did it online this year, and it still mostly worked. We raised about $2,000, which was absolutely incredible. We also, one of our major projects is something called Bump In, which is a bakery down on the downtown east side who hand out food. So every second Friday would meet up after school, would make sandwiches, bake muffins, would be listening to music, we'd be having a fun time, getting ready. And then on the Sunday would go and hand out sandwiches. We do food drives. So you know, we normally do it in school. This year, we took it all the way to the community. We had people drop stuff off on their doorsteps, and we went around to all the houses. We got donations. We do bake sales, which are always fun. We've had bake sales for polio every year, bake sales, just raising money or awareness for whatever is going on. We do Samaritan's Purse Christmas boxes, where you fill boxes with toys and clothing and toiletries, and they get sent all across the globe to kids. So we do so many different projects, always lots of fun, raising lots of money and awareness for different events. Next slide, please. And then the second part of it, leadership, we offer a bunch of leadership opportunities. We are doing so many right now because most of them are online, so people can attend a lot of them. We do the exchange programs that have been discussed. Our club, or our Rotary Club, was actually chosen to try a virtual exchange this coming fall. So depending on how well that one goes, they're trying to get that out to all of the clubs. So if an exchange is something you're interested in, they're working on it. We run Adventures in Citizenship, where you normally get to go to Ottawa and you learn all about Canadian politics and Parliament. We run RYLA. The presidents this year got to go to Big West Rotaract Institute, which was an incredible week full of training. We do district interact conferences all the time. So there's always some event where you can go meet other people, learn new ideas, work on your leadership skills. Yeah, next slide, please. So the benefits of Interact, you meet so many new people, so many new friends, or getting to hang out with your old friends, get to know people better. Obviously, you get to enhance your leadership skills, get to learn some new stuff. You're getting involved in the local community and the global community, which is really exciting and interesting. You meet a whole bunch of new people, you get to network a bit. We learn a lot about the disparities in the world and how we can help with your global charity. You know, if you join Interact for a few years, you'll hopefully get to see some different parts of the world and get to just that awareness of what's going on. And you can join an organization you can be a part of for life, as people are talking about today. You can join Interact and then go on to Rotaract and then Rotary. And this is something you can do for years, which is, you know, different from other clubs. And obviously it's so much fun. Like Interact has been the highlight of these past 2 years for me, especially, you know, with COVID. Interact has been something that we've been able to do and have fun with it. So I would highly recommend it for anyone. And then last slide, please. So obviously we have questions later, but I've left my email, which I can put in the chat if you guys have any questions for me afterwards. My club is on Instagram if you ever want to see what we're doing. But thank you guys so much for having me today.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for that presentation, Bethany. That was awesome. I will be talking to you guys about Rotaract, which is very similar to Interact. So we'll do next slide. So what is Rotaract? Next slide. So just a definition is Rotaract is a group of young individuals who cultivate relationships and leadership skills through serving our local and global communities. So just a little bit of background how I got involved with Rotaract. In 2016, I participated in a short-term Rotary Youth Exchange program, and I went to Germany for part of the summer, and it was amazing. It was the best thing ever, and that's got me involved, and I started studying German once I got to college. And in my German class in college, I made a friend, and that friend was involved in Rotary and is the Rotaract president of our club here at Western and Bellingham. So that's how I got roped in, and I've been a part of the club for this past year. Next slide. Sorry, my computer's a little slow. But now a little bit of background about Rotaract. So the history of Rotaract, it started in North Carolina a little over 50 years ago. There's over 10,000 clubs, over 200,000 members in 180 different countries all around the world. Specifically, we're in District 50-50, which is kind of cool, like 50 Canada, 50 America, since it's split over the border. And the first club here was in Abbotsford, and right now we have 10 chartered Rotaract clubs and 26 sponsoring clubs. So the sponsoring clubs are the Rotary clubs that help out with the Rotaract clubs. Next slide, please. So here's just another little quote about Rotaract. So Rotaract clubs bring together people ages 18 and older to exchange ideas with leaders in the community, develop leadership and professional skills, and have fun through service. So the way I kind of look at it is it's like maybe the step after Interact. So I think a lot of you guys are in the Interact high school age. So this would be a great way to kind of move to the next step once you've aged out of that one. And so being a part of a Rotaract club, you have access to Rotary International and the Rotary Foundation. So like we've heard throughout the night, there's tons of different opportunities to get involved on a global level, and Rotary can kind of give you access to get into those little things. You have the opportunity to develop leadership and professional skills, serve your local, district, and international communities. So it's a great way to have opportunities to do projects that maybe affect your neighborhood or your town, but also on a global scale, like we talked about with the different events to help polio and things like that. And then also harvest meaningful and lasting connections. Next slide, please. So who can be a Rotaractor? So it's students and young professionals ages 18 and older. Oftentimes they're members of the local universities or community members. In our past, Rotary Exchange students or interactors, and YAIL and RYLA attendees, and are all future Rotarians. So for example, in our Bellingham Rotaract Club, we're partly affiliated with the university, so we get new members through school, but we also have a lot of community members, people who have graduated or are working. We all get together for Rotaract. Next slide. So what does it mean to be in Rotaract, and what's a day in the life of a Rotaractor? This is for our club, but they're pretty similar across the board. So we typically have 2 meetings every month. They're about an hour. And a cool thing about Rotaract is that you can get involved on any level that works for you. If you have tons of free time and you maybe want to be secretary and help plan all the events and everything like that, that's awesome. But maybe you're really busy and you only have time to go to the normal meetings and a couple of the other events going on, that's great too. It's really whatever you want to make of it. It's a great way to get to know each other. As we've heard through everyone's stories, I think everyone's made really meaningful friendships and relationships through the people that they've met at the various Rotary events. You plan and work on service projects together. You get to listen to speakers from around the world. Our clubs had speakers from Germany and Egypt and everywhere else. And there's also a lot of educational and professional opportunities that can come from being a part of Rotaract as well. Next slide, please. And then this is just a picture of all the different Rotaract clubs that are in District 50/50. So as you guys can see, there's 6 different Canadian clubs and then 4 different American clubs to make up our district. Next slide, please. And so if you guys are interested in learning more about Rotaract, maybe you want to check out what it's like more specifically wherever you all live. If you go to rotaract5050.org, you'll get to this main home screen, and then you click clubs, and then you can scroll down and it has the hyperlinks to all the different clubs. And if you go to that, that can give you more specific information to maybe when your club would meet and how to get in contact, and maybe some pictures of some. Next slide, please. So this is just a couple of examples of some of the past projects that all the different clubs in 50/50 have done. So there's been a spring plant fundraiser, a block party, blood drives. Here we did a fundraiser to support the wildfires that were along the West Coast. Park cleanups have been a really cool way to get out and about, especially during COVID. You can do it social distance. There's also mentorship programs. So that's a great way if you're falling under the more young professional level to get in contact with other people in the community that maybe share similar interests or career goals. I know I've had the opportunity to talk with people that are on a similar path than me, and that's been really helpful. International meetings, like we said, getting to meet people all around the world, letter writing programs, cold weather clothing drive, food drives, events like YAIL, various speakers, and also trips, including a trip a few years ago to Guatemala that raised $80,000 to install stoves, which was great. Next slide, please. And these are just more pictures about some of the different fundraisers. If you guys are interested and you follow, most of the different clubs have social media, and it's an awesome way to kind of stay in the loop with the different events that are going on. So these are just some pictures from things that you can find on the different Instagram pages. Next slide, please. So that was pretty much it for Rotaract. It's really awesome, and it's a great way to get involved and stay involved after you graduate high school and everything like that. So totally recommend. Thanks, guys.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Almeida. I am from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I am a member of the Rotaract Club of Toronto. I first learned about Rotaract in the fall of 2011 at the Queen's University Club Fair. I was told that Rotaract was a way I could get involved with various charitable causes and could contribute as little or as much as I wanted to, and I've been involved ever since. It's hard to pick, but I think my proudest moment of my Rotaract experience was becoming a Paul Harris Fellow in 2015, as the speech where I was recognized summarized so many initiatives I had been involved with, including a focus on bringing Rotaractors across the district together during my term as a district Rotaract representative and taking part in our club's humanitarian trip organized in partnership with the First Nations community. Knowing that every action taken, regardless of how small or big, can have a positive impact on others is what inspires me to keep giving back to the local and global community through service in Rotaract.
Hi, my name is Ishan. I am from Coquitlam, British Columbia in Canada. I am part of the Tri-Cities Interact Club. I first learned about Rotary when I was in grade 9 in my high school, but the Rotary president at the time had set up an info booth to promote a youth event called Rotary Youth in Action. I attended this leadership seminar, where myself, along with many like-minded individuals, founded the Tri-Cities Interact Club. I enjoy my time giving back to the community and look forward to continue doing so in the future. Stay safe and thank you.
Hello, mabuhay. I'm Alfeo Sanggalang from Candelaria, Quezon, Philippines. I'm a member and a past president of the Rotary Club of Candelaria, District 3820. My father, who was a charter member and a past president of the Rotary Club of Candelaria, introduced me to Rotaract and Rotary. My favorite and proudest moment in Rotary was when I was still a young and fresh Rotarian. My club held a medical mission in a remote village here in my town. I was assigned at the patient registration area, and my job was to gather patients' data and assist them to the doctors. There were around 8,000 patients that arrived at the time. After the patients were seen by the doctors, they will go back to us at the registration area, smiling and thanking us endlessly. They were so happy that an organization like Rotary visited and held a medical mission in their village. Most of these people are so poor that they cannot even afford transportation going to the town center. What more to afford for their medical needs? Those smiles were priceless. I only did so little, but for them it was really a big help.
My name is Aikner. I am a student in Surrey, Canada, and a member of the Interact Club of Panorama Ridge. I got started in Rotary about 3 years ago when my friends dragged me into the club room wanting to participate, and obviously they needed someone by their side, so that was me tagging along there. And I am forever grateful that they dragged me down the hall, because that day, that club, it's changed my life. It's really made me who I am today, and I just wanted to share that with you. Over the past 3 years, I've had the immense opportunity and the honor of doing so many projects in my local community, as well as contributing to my international community around me. And one of my favorite memories from doing this was holding this one project I'd like to call the Holding Hands on Universal Children's Day. On this day, we went, me and my classmates, we went to a elementary school, a local one, about a 10-minute walk away from our school, high school, and we spent about 2 hours with students from kindergarten and grade 2, and we spent time playing games with them, kind of guiding, mentoring them, just trying to engage them in whatever they thought was fun, helping them find a sense of belonging, helping them find a sense of community, sisterhood, brotherhood, whatever you may want to call it, just making them feel like they have a place in our community and inspiring them to do, to act in our community, to not be afraid to be themselves, to always voice their opinions, and just feel like they're important, because they are. They really make a huge difference in this world. Every child counts.
Hello, Rotaract and Interactors. My name is Josh Innes. I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'm a member of the University of Alberta Rotaract Club and also the membership chair for the Rotary Club for Global Action. I first heard about Rotaract through a friend, and I was hooked on the idea of using my energy to do something productive for both other people on the planet. My proudest moment in Rotaract was when we hosted our large annual fundraiser called Rotaraction for Change. We had role-playing games, silent auctions, food, and entertainment all lined up. And ultimately, the event was really well received, and we ended up raising over $6,000 for the youth empowerment and support services here in Edmonton. And while dollar amounts may change from event to event, the most important things for me were the impact and the awareness that we brought towards the organization. I'm always inspired by the effect that we can have when we work together towards influencing social change. Rotaract has allowed me to meet people, understand their values, and further understand my own as they're put into practice. I hope it does the same thing for you.
Hi.
Cool. Now we got a few minutes for Q&A. So if anyone has some questions for the Rotary Youth Programs, go ahead and send them in the chat or go ahead and speak up.
Just a quick note, most of the facilitators that have joined us throughout sessions and that just did presentations, they can answer on all sorts of different topics, anything Rotary, Rotaract, any of the topics that were just covered. So lots of different perspectives. If you want to know more details on how you can get involved, experiences, so on, they would all be excellent resources to ask. And feel free to unmute yourself as well if you have any questions. There's one question. What are the plans for future Rotary/Interact experiences? Are things going to be online? I probably am speaking for most of the programs in our district. The goal is to get back in person. Just with COVID right now, we're doing what we can virtually, but the goal is to go back in person. We are currently planning to have YAIL and RYLA be in person next year, assuming we're allowed to, borders are open and things are under control again. That is the plan, and I assume most of the other programs are the same thing too.
I think there's a question, Bethany, that you might be able to answer. Someone, Oliver, said he's interested in joining Interact, but there isn't a club in his school.
Yeah, for sure. So, if there isn't a club at your school, you can, go onto the website, see if there's one in the community, because some of them are community clubs, not with a school. So see if that's an option. And if there's not one in the community, you could look into starting your own. You can, to start your own club, you'll need a Rotary club to sponsor you and some friends to help join it. But if that's something you want to take on, it would be incredible to have more Interact clubs in the schools.
I was just going to add to that. Thank you, Bethany. Also, Rotaract clubs can sponsor Interact clubs to start as well. So Brenna was here. Oh yeah, Brenna's here. She's been working a lot with a community club in Mission, for example, in BC, and they're just starting up as well. So, and they actually, the beginning members had gone to YAIL and then wanted to start a club from there. So it's definitely possible, and there's lots of connections here and then within the district as a whole where you can start a club if you want to.
Just adding on to the question about Sassy Awards. So there's two separate awards. The Surrey Sassy Awards are for Surrey, South Surrey, and White Rock. Anyone who works, lives, or volunteers in those areas can apply for the Surrey Sassy Awards. For the Langley Sassy Awards, I believe it is the same thing. I would just have to confirm what the specific locations are. I want to say it's Langley, Aldergrove, and one more, but I can confirm what those are. But you do have to be either live, work, or volunteer in those areas to apply for the Sassy Awards. Yes, thank you, Austin. Go to school, live, work, or volunteering. Quick question for Bethany. Do you have plans for what your next steps are in Rotary after you graduate? Are you going to be joining Rotaract Club, or do you plan on getting involved in any of the other programs?
Yeah, I'd love to join Rotaract. I'll be moving across Canada next year for school, so I'll look into seeing if there's a Rotaract Club over there. But I would love to stay connected and keep going with this organization, because it's incredible, all the things you can be a part of.
Awesome. One more thing I just wanted to note. I know Bethany had said that her Interact Club works with RYLA. One slight difference in District 50/50 that we're unique from most Rotary districts is we offer YAIL and RYLA. So typically RYLA in other Rotary districts is for 15 to 17-year-olds. We offer both programs, YAIL being for 15 to 17-year-olds and RYLA being for 18 to 30. So we are very proud of both programs, but we're unique compared to most Rotary districts. Linda Jean, could you elaborate on the Delta Youth Awards a little bit? I'm not familiar with those ones.
The Delta Youth Awards are, of course, Richmond, Delta, North and South Delta, and they partner with Rotary as well as other community organizations, and it's very similar to Sassy, but again, for that geographical area. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I usually go every year in order to help give out the awards and something. And it's really, nothing can compare with Sassy, first of all. Let's say that. I have to put that out there because it's been around for such a long time. But the Delta, again, focuses on high school students primarily, as opposed to out of high school.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone else have any questions regarding any of the youth programs in our district? Big or small, or just wanting to hear a little bit more experience from anyone on a specific topic or a program?
And if you guys end up having more questions after this session, you could always email us and we'll put you in contact with the right people if we can't answer that question. So feel free to email us too.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, we will be sending out the links to all of these different programs, to the websites, to the registrations, deadlines, and then same thing, we can kind of put a list out of the Rotaract and Interact clubs that are available in our district and just everything that is available to you. And as Dakota said, anything you have further questions on, you can absolutely email us. Just email the Youth Adventures and Leadership email that you've been getting the links from, and we'll direct you in the right place to answer your questions, anything you need. All righty. Is that everyone for questions? Yeah. All right, well, we are going to move on to trivia now. So I'm just going to pull up a slide here. 1 second.
Get your phones ready or a web browser ready. You will need that. Any facilitator or committee member that is joining this trivia, you will not win anything.
Yes, and just to also note on this, there is prizes available for this trivia. So the trivia is going